Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now for this video I'd like to review two fantastic horror movies. I watched them this week and I can highly recommend them. They were both written and directed by Lawrence Fowler, and those movies are called The Jack in the Box and The Jack in the Box 2 Awakening. Now, if you haven't seen these movies, guys, I highly recommend that you get yourself copies of them because, as I say, absolutely fantastic horror movies. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to talk about the first one and I'll go on to the sequel, which I watched last night. Okay, so the first one, The Jack in the Box, was made in 2020, and it's basically about this big antiquated Jack in the Box from the Victorian times. It's supposed to house this centuries-old demon, and the movie starts off with this elderly guy. One day he's out in the fields with his metal detector, and he finds this box, you know, buried in the ground, and he takes it back to the house and that, and his wife has a look at it now, and unfortunately his wife dies, and he ends up getting the blame for her murder. So then it moves on then to a museum, and the owner of the museum has acquired this box and that, you know, and then you've got the main protagonist, the guy in it. I think he's called Rick. He's sort of like things start happening, like he starts witnessing things and that, and he starts, I don't want to go on too much about it because I don't want to spoil this movie, but he starts witnessing these strange things. You know, people start disappearing when he comes to the museum, and like all sorts of strange things start happening, like, you know, in you know, relating to this antiquated Jack in the Box. It's basically, basically houses this demon, and what it does every time it kills somebody, it's got to kill somebody 6 times, because each time it kills somebody, it gets stronger and stronger, and then once it's killed the 6 people, well, it's supposed to go back into the box and that and stay there, and you know, for centuries and that. But with each person, what it kills, as it gets stronger and stronger, and oh yeah, it's a real creepy looking demon, this guy's, it really is, yeah. And it takes the form of this clown, you know, and I think this demonic clown is even more terrifying than Pennywise, you know, yeah. Oh yeah, it's a very good movie, guys, yeah. Great British indie horror, and if you like movies about like these haunted objects, I think you will like this one, The Jack in the Box. It's a fantastic movie, well acted, excellent cinematography, and it doesn't rely on jump scares to achieve the desired effect, guys. I'll be keeping both of these in my collection because I thoroughly enjoyed them, well, I learned like that they made a sequel to it, I had to get it and that, but I'll talk about that in a minute. But this, guys, is a fantastic horror movie. This is another one of the more good horror movies that I've watched recently. I talked about a couple of great ones in my previous few videos, but this is another one, guys, where I can highly recommend The Jack in the Box. The characters are good. You know, I like the main protagonist, Rick, and he's carrying some, what makes the movie even more interesting. The main protagonist, you know, he's carrying a lot of emotional baggage because something happened in his past with his girlfriend. She was out or something. I don't know if she'd been visiting relatives or been for a night out, but he keeps having these flashbacks, like these, well, nightmares, if you like, of her, you know, she's ringing him frantically on a mobile phone and she gets killed by this mysterious assailant. So he keeps thinking he's got that emotional baggage. And then you've got the girl, there's a girl in it, like, you know, he sort of like hooks up with, that works in the museum as well, and that, and then you've got like his boss and that, a woman, she's kind of a no-nonsense authoritarian, that, and when he starts saying about, you know, strange things happening with the boss, she poo-poos it, she dismisses it, oh, you know, all fantasy and all that, as is normally the case. The police detective that comes investigating the mysterious disappearances of the people, you know, the lad's sort of like, he's sort of like a bit reluctant at first because he knows he'll be scoffed at, but in the end, as the cop is going out the door after he's interviewed him, he does touch on supernatural, and of course the copper just scoffs and that, you know, yeah. So you've got that aspect, and a lovely setting in that, you know, the British countryside, a great demon, great monster, good acting, solid storyline. I can highly recommend this, The Jack in the Box. It's a fantastic movie, and I love that cover, guys. They are nice slip cover there. Yeah, this is quite cheap as well. I think you can get this about £6.99 and £7.99. Yeah. Oh yes, one of the best. Excuse me. One of the best British horror movies. One of the best British horror movies I've seen. Like, you know, of late. You know, I'd rank it up there like all the others I've seen and that. So yeah, it's a fantastic story. Weird, as I say, great supernatural entity, and it's very, very disturbing in parts. Yeah. And then you've got the guy at the beginning with the metal detector. He gets put away. I think he gets done for manslaughter because he gets blamed for it, sort of like in a roundabout way. His wife going missing. Well, the police presume somehow he's been behind a death. But he gets out later, and you see this lad Rick going to visit him at home. And at first he says, "Get away! You know, don't want anybody near after what's happened now." But then when Rick says, "I've got the box," he lets him in somewhat reluctantly, and he starts saying that, "Well, you know, you've got to sort of get rid of it." And that, you know, yeah. I won't go any more about it, guys. I don't want to spoil it. But it's a fantastic movie, The Jack in the Box. And as I say, if you like a good horror movie, good British horror movie, get yourself a copy of this. Rating wise, and no hesitation, a full 10 out of 10. So there you go, that's the first one, The Jack in the Box. Moving on now to the sequel, which was made only a year later. Yeah, The Jack in the Box Awakening. And again, this was brilliantly written and directed by Lawrence Fowler. And this time, the box has found its way into the possession of this rather eccentric old lady. She lives in this big manor house in the country, and she's dying. She's bedridden, and she's dying of bone cancer. And what she does, she knows all about the box, and she's got like a son living there. He's a rather like snivelling, slimy son, and he does everything for her and that, you know, yeah. But she gets this box in her possession, and what they do, they start having people, staff in this big manor house and that. Under the pretext of employing them, but they want to kill them because what the woman wants to do, she wants to sacrifice 6 victims, and she makes a wish. If she kills the 6 victims, it gives 6 victims to the demon, she will regain her health and strength. So that's her aim, and that, you know, she wants the son to sort of like come in on it with her, like a sort of like weird act of complicity. So he starts sort of like bumping people off, basically using the box, you know, the antiquated Jack in the Box that's got this demon in it. And another thing what makes this interesting, guys, it expands more on the actual history of the box, its origins, you know, because you get to know a bit more about it, like how it became to be cursed by this demon, something to do with this clown. I think it's from the Victorian era, and he becomes cursed and that, so he sort of like, he goes into the box, and the demons possess his body, yeah. Oh yeah, it's very good. I'd say it expands more on the origins of the Jack in the Box. Fantastic movie. I went into this really, I mean, like, you know, considering previous experience of sequels and that, I went into this like really not expecting it to be as great as the first one. Boy, guys, was I pleasantly surprised. This is a fantastic movie. It's just as good as the first one. I like both of them equally, and yeah, it's real good. You got the creepy box again and that, you know, and then you got like a girl that sort of like gets employed by the mother and the son. A live-in job. She's the main female protagonist in this movie, and then she starts experiencing weird things. But I don't want to give away too much of it. But this movie is not heavy on jump scares, but that makes it all the more effective, guys. For that, you know, there's no, you know, a lot of these horror movies now, they rely on too many cheap jump scares. There's 1 or 2, but not many, guys, and they're not really what you call out and out jump scares. But there is some genuinely creepy moments in this, and this demon is one of the most terrifying demons I have ever seen in a horror movie. This clown character from centuries ago. Oh yeah, it's a fantastic movie. The son's good, and the guy who plays the son, he's very, very creepy. He's slimy, and the mother as well. She's really evil. She knows all about the box. She's studied it. She's researched it, and this is why she makes sure she gets it, guys. So sort of like, I say, once the 6 people are chosen and are killed, she hopes that she will regain her health and strength. So that's the twisted purpose behind her acquiring the box. Oh yeah, so many good scenes in this, guys. Highly recommend it. It's just as I say, it's just as good as the first one, The Jack in the Box. 2 fine horror movies here, and I hope we do a sequel, actually, a sequel to the second one, because I won't give away the ending, but I can see room there, guys, to expand on this story even further. A new horror icon is born, and this is this demonic clown character in this this big antiquated box, and it's real creepy because when the box is activated, when the son lays the victims in, locks them in the barn and that, puts them in front of the box, ties them up, and it starts up, you know, the handle turns around and that, and the thing opens up, and then you see the clown, and then you see the demon crawling out. You see this big clawed hand over the edge of the box and that, and then you see the demon come up, stands up like that, and although he's very, very slow in his actions, boy, guys, does he slaughter these people, you know, mercilessly and brutally. Oh yeah, one of the most terrifying demons I have ever seen in a horror movie. Yeah, so many good movies, as I say, so many good instances in these guys, you know, and there's so many good moments in these two movies, guys. You won't be disappointed. Lovely scenery. I like that. I say again, the English countryside. I like that the girl was good. The main girl, the main protagonist. Her name was Molly Hindle. Yeah, so you got Molly Hindle, Nicola Rice, Michael Longdon, and Jason Voorhees, Victor Mellors. Yeah, very, very consummately written and directed, as I say, by Lawrence Fowler. I can highly recommend these two movies, The Jack in the Box. Yeah. Actually, there is some truth in it. Well, it's not really a true story, but there has been instance. I've wrote a book about it, Haunted Objects, where people bought these objects from you know, shops or online or whatever, and you've got a creepy atmosphere attached to them. You know, I mean, Robert the Doll, you know, Annabelle, you know, things like that. But I find it very, very interesting, you know, about all haunted objects now, because you don't know the history, you know, and oh yeah, fantastic, fascinating stuff, guys. Yeah. So again, guys, I'm on to a rating now for The Jack in the Box, The Awakening. I would give this movie a solid, like the first one, a solid 10 out of 10. As I say, both of them are fantastic movies, you know, among the best I've seen recently. And actually, you know, as I've said this before, a lot of these British indie horror movies can knock the socks off a lot of these big horror movies, these big budget horror movies. These are both, you know, in terms of entertainment value, these are both low budgets, but they make good use of the budget, guys, with these movies. I'm telling you, they're fantastic. They really are. I'll just show you the back there. There's the creepy, that's the creepy Jack that emerges first, and that comes out the box and that, and you hear this music playing, tinkling music, and then all hell breaks loose. All hell breaks loose, guys, when this demonic creature, you know, slowly comes out the box. Yeah. Oh yeah, if you want to go two good horror movies, guys, buy the two of them if you haven't got them. But I'd highly recommend you buy the two of these movies. They are absolutely fantastic. And it's, you know, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I'm a very, very critical reviewer of horror movies, but I can't fault either of these guys. I thought 10 out of 10 for both of them. So you've got The Jack in the Box, and then you've got The Jack in the Box, The Awakening. Yeah, I highly recommend them. It was good the way they followed the story as well, the way the old lady came in possession of the box and that, and she used it like for this rather warped purpose of, you know, killing this, and every time killing the people, sacrificing them to the box. And every time the box kills somebody, it's got like a number thing on it, and it changes the first victim. You go 1, and it clicks to 2, and then the third one's killed, and it clicks to 3. Yeah, like a countdown sort of thing in that. It reminded me a little bit of, you know, Taste of Blood of Dracula. As he kills the victims, he counts off, like, although that was verbally, you know, because the first, the second, you know, well, you know what I mean if you watch Taste of Blood of Dracula. But in this movie, although it's a countdown, it's visually, you can see the numbers on the side of the box. It flashes up dramatically once the victim's killed. And well, believe me, guys, there's some real gruesome killings in this. So there you go, guys. So there you go. So that's The Jack in the Box from 2020, and The Jack in the Box Awakening. Both fantastic movies. I can't fault either of them. If you like your British indie horror, you could do no worse to get these guys. They're fantastic, yeah. Okay, guys, have any of you by chance already seen any of these movies? Let me know, you know, leave a comment down below. Oh, thoroughly entertaining. I will definitely think about them. Good storyline, the setting, the acting. The actors were good, you know, really, really on the money, the actors. And the demon, this big box and that. I hope to see more of it in future. So if you're watching anybody connected with the movie, make a third one, because I will be one of the first in line to get it. Yeah. Okay, guys, so that's a review of the Jack in the Box movies. Hope you enjoyed it, and all going well. I will talk to you all again soon. Thanks. Bye for now. My book, Haunted Objects, is now available from Amazon in both paperback and Kindle formats.